Scott Proscia, Certified Athletic Trainer, Performance Coach at IREP Athletics. Today I'm going to talk to you about shin splints. This is a catch-all term for a lower leg injury that problematic to a lot of runners. The technical term for this is usually medial tibial stress syndrome. So MTSS or shin splints. What this is we have two bones in our lower leg. You guys have to excuse my poor drawing skills here, but I'll try to do my best. And usually this affects the bigger, thicker bone in the lower leg called the tibia. And we have some musculature on the anterior portion of the leg, and that's the front of the leg, that often gets inflamed. With medial tibial stress syndrome, we often find that running down the inside of this are some tendons, and particularly the posterior tibialis tendon. It runs right behind this kind of lip on this tibia bone, and it tends to get inflamed and aggravated right in this area. And usually that's due to like a pronated foot. So when we talk about pronation, that's where our foot kind of rolls towards the inside. And a lot of people think, they have a collapsed arch and it's an arch problem or a foot problem. And sometimes it is, but often it's a hip stability issue in a running dynamics. So usually somebody that's suffering from shin splints, we're going to introduce the management plan that Coach Anthony Ross developed, our head strength and conditioning coach, developed to help get somebody back in and return them to play. But we just want to go over the overview of some of the things that are included in this. So we talked about pronation a little bit, and that's kind of where we collapse towards the inside. Sometimes that's more of a hip issue. And one of the biggest things I find is that it's a gait problem. So we have a lot of our athletes, they're wearing a big, high-heeled shoe with a big heel-to-toe drop discrepancy, and they're overstriding. All right, so they're landing on their heels first, and then eccentrically need to control their foot as it slaps back down against the ground, and that adds a lot of stress to this, to the front of the shin. All right, so what I like to do, here's my little stick figure. I got another pen here. So we have our stick figure, and often what I see is if this is their center of mass here, that I see this foot big accentuated, they're landing on their heel first, and this is like 18 to 24 inches in front of their center of mass. I like to bring this all the way back to no more than 6 inches in front of their center of mass so that they're landing here and they're promoted with a forward lean. All right, so that really helps too. Really what I like to do with my athletes, I like to get them some objective feedback. We want them to do a full gait analysis with us, so we get some front video, back and side video, and we do an on-screen analysis for them. We break it down to slow motion, go frame by frame, and really help them with their specific gait issue. But don't forget a gait problem. So shin splints, when do they occur? Usually we see an athlete, I find it often with downhill running. Somebody's really crushing the downhills, and that's just because these braking forces and this eccentric loading of that tibia is so much greater in a downhill. So I find if somebody does they're doing a lot of hill repeats, or they're doing something crazy and they end up trashing themselves on the downhill, that seems to be a big culprit. Or they're just increasing their mileage too quickly, they're ramping up too quickly, and this musculature is just not ready, or their form is just so poor that they're just bound to have this happen to them. So if somebody's really struggling and they keep having this problem, we try to set up a plan that's going to help mitigate that risk of injury and decrease this from coming back again. All right, so we have this anterior tibialis muscle, which is right in the front of the shin. It gets really aggravated and inflamed. And what do we do for this? We really need to, we need to first reduce the inflammation. All right, so we need to remove the aggravating activity. They need to rest. And somebody might see, they ran one run and they continue to push through and they completely blew up their leg. All right, they may have some swelling in there. There may be tender to palpation, when we push on it, it hurts. It may actually be visibly swollen and we can see that. Sometimes, if we're not tender on the muscle, we're a little more tender on the bone. Sometimes we need to worry about a stress fracture in this area, especially in like we see this in a female runner. We call it the female triad. Somebody who's amenorrheic, they don't get their menstrual cycle regularly. They have some type of disordered eating pattern. And then they get osteopenia. And osteopenia, we may see some stress fractures involved with that. But that's really where you need to go get a medical diagnosis. And that kind of brings up our disclaimer. We're not your physical therapist. We're not your athletic trainer. We're not your doctor. Just give you some recommendations as an overview and the general rehab prescription for this person. You always want to check with your doctor first before starting one of our plans. But we have this anterior tibialis muscle that seems to be the culprit, or that posterior tibialis muscle which runs behind. So we need to stabilize the foot, we need to strengthen the muscles, and the big thing is we need to clean up those gait mechanics to help mitigate this risk of injury. So please go check us out at thetrainingplansource.com and see the injury management plan that Coach Anthony Ross put together for us, and that is thetrainingplansource.com.